Hello and welcome back to another FPL transfer tips video. We are still in the middle of double game week 24, so I don't have last week's picks for us because I did pick a lot of double game week players and obviously the week isn't over yet, and we're still waiting on Everton and Liverpool's game to really decide if those guys were successful transfers. But for this week we're going to head to another double game week in double game week 25 where we've got Aston Villa and Liverpool picking up a double. So I do think out of all the popular transfers we've got this week, Morgan Rogers is the one you can see on screen. I think he is the only double game week player I think we have in this whole video. A lot of them were covered last week. So starting off the video with Morgan Rogers, I do think he is a very easy buy at this point. I think for most people it's going to be a really nice one to pick up for only 5.6 million. It is obviously worth noting that anyone you do buy with a double this week is going to be blanking in game week 29. So if you are looking to load up on maybe Villa players, someone like Rogers, maybe someone like a Watkins, it might be more beneficial if you are on a free hit in game week 29 kind of chip strategy, if you are looking to get as many doubles in as possible. But I think Rogers is someone you can buy right now and kind of keep for the whole season. He's kind of at that price range where you don't really have to worry if you do have to bench him. So again, with him missing out in game week 29, it's not the end of the world. But 144,000 transfers in so far. Like I said, only 5.6 million, a really good one with the price that he's at. And of course, involved in that double game week this week is the Ipswich at home fixture. Up until the blank game week 29, I don't think the fixtures are fantastic, as good as they can be, but again, for someone at that price, you're not really risking too much in terms of budget for the rest of your team. Ipswich at home, Liverpool at home and Chelsea at home, so his next 3 games are all home fixtures before playing against Crystal Palace away from home in game week 27, and he is due to rise in price in about a week's time. I think that is going to probably speed up a little bit when the deadline kind of comes around. I think with the fact that game week 24 isn't officially ended yet, people are still holding off with transfers, so there is a good chance that Rodgers could also rise before the deadline. Next up, we're looking at Kerkez, another very popular transfer in this week. Almost 200,000 transfers in. He's now up to 5 million. He has already rose in price this week, so he isn't due to rise again, but he's a very good pick. Now is the time to get in the Bournemouth players. They have great fixtures coming up, and they also don't blank in game week 29, so you are going to get 5 full fixtures before the popular wildcard in game week 30, which seems to be a very popular chip strategy at the minute. Southampton away, Wolves at home, 2 really nice fixtures that he can do well in. If you aren't going to go for the triple up in the Bournemouth midfield with Dango, Semenyo and Kluivert, definitely would be looking to get Kerkez to complete the triple up or the double up depending on how you're looking. We can compare him to the other Bournemouth defenders as well. It is worth noting that he is 0.6 more than the other obvious picks. Huijsen is definitely looking like another really good option. In terms of stats, he's looking very similar. Obviously Huijsen is more of the centre back, with Kerkez being more of the left back, wing back kind of style. But if you can't afford Kerkez, I definitely think Huijsen could be a really good pick as well. He's only got 2 less shots than Kerkez so far this season, and the expected goal involvement is matched at 2.2. So I do think Kerkez is probably the better pick. When it comes to expected points, they are fairly similar. Huijsen is 0.8 more according to Fantasy Football Hub over the next few game weeks. But I definitely would be going for Kerkez if I had to pick one, but I really don't think there's any harm at all in going for Dean Huijsen if you want to save some money, or if maybe you can't get to Kerkez to afford them. Next, we're looking at Anthony Gordon. I think he's going to be a sell this week. There is just too many good midfielders that you can get between now and like 5 game weeks time. There's the Bournemouth guys. There's obviously get doubles from Aston Villa and Liverpool. Brentford have some really nice fixtures if you want to pick up Mbuemo. And obviously with all that, you've still got Salah, Palmer, and everyone who just really make up the 5 players in midfield. And I think looking at Gordon's fixtures, it just doesn't really fit in anywhere at the minute. He's 7.6 million, he's been transferred out. I think he's the number 1 transferred out so far this week at almost 300,000, but the fixtures just aren't really there. He isn't exactly someone who is going to pick up 2-3 goals in matches either, so in terms of picking up big hauls, it's not really going to happen. So Man City away, Nottingham Forest at home, Liverpool away, not ideal for him. Would be looking to move him on for someone with better fixtures. However, in saying that, I do think Alexander Isak is someone that I would be looking to keep. He is just one of the best players in the game so far this season, and I think he can easily score in these fixtures, despite it being pretty tough on paper. His expected points are still pretty high, with 6.4 against City, 7 against Nottingham Forest, and 6 against Liverpool. He has been transferred out 120,000 times, but he has also been transferred in 50,000 times. He's not due to drop in price anytime soon. 9.5 million, I imagine most of us do still have him in our teams. We can take a look at just how good he has been. Obviously, in terms of expected goals for the season, he's only behind Haaland and Salah so far this season, so the third best prolific striker in the game, or prolific player, if we're including, obviously midfielders like Salah and Palmer in there. Points over the last 5, he's not exactly dropped in form either. He's got the 5th highest points in the game in his last 5 matches, and even when it comes to expected points in his next 4 games, he's still sitting in 4th. So despite having those difficult fixtures, his expected points are still really, really high. Obviously, a big thing is that he is going to blank in game week 29 since Newcastle made the final of the EFL Cup. But personally, I would definitely be wanting him back in game week 30. So if you are looking to sell him off, you are probably going to lose a lot of value because he's rose a lot in price. A lot of people have had him in their team for a long time. I think myself, I've had him for about 10 game weeks now, and I've got about $1 million saved in him. So if I was to sell him off, I would lose about $1 million in team value. So I think I'm just going to keep him in. We've seen him score against these teams already this season. Did you know? I think he picked up a double against Liverpool in the reverse fixture. Obviously, that was a home one. It's going to be a lot more difficult away from home. But I think these fixtures, Isak is kind of getting to that point where he is just fixture proof, and at this point of the season I'm not really seeing 3 strikers that I would rather have instead of him. So yes, I would try and sell off all the Newcastle players with difficult fixtures and a blank in game week 29, but I definitely would be looking to keep Isak. And then finishing off the video, we do have another striker who's been on brilliant form, and that is Mateta from Crystal Palace. He's been transferred in over 100,000 times as well so far due to his fantastic recent form, and he does still have some pretty nice fixtures over the next couple. Again, I do think he's a player that is going to be more suited to people using their free hit in game week 29, because I don't know if this is really a point to bring players in, especially if they're not doubling this week, that are going to go and blank in game week 29, but he does still have some nice fixtures on the build up to that, with Everton at home, Fulham away and Aston Villa at home. And again, you can see down the bottom of the screen his fixture in game week 28 is Ipswich at home, which he could do really well in. Now obviously, as you can see, we were talking about his form there. In terms of expected goals, in the last 5 he is sitting at number 1, so he is on paper the best striker we've had in the last 5 games, ahead of Wissa, ahead of Isak, ahead of Wood, ahead of Haaland. He's also right up there for big chances, again joint with the likes of Havertz and Foden, just behind Haaland and Wissa. And then for points in the last 5, he's sitting in 4th. So only Foden, Kluivert and Wood have achieved more points than Mateta in the last 5 games, and the fixtures are definitely not slowing down for him. So if you're on a free hit, or even if you're just dead ending into game week 29, I think he could be a really good pick. Again, 3 home fixtures as well in his next 4. I don't see his form slowing down anytime soon. So a lot of buys this week and not really too much of anything else. We've got 3 players in the buy section, only 1 sell and only 1 keep this week. No one to avoid. I don't really think there was too many players that had been transferred in a lot this week that didn't really look like too great of a transfer. So this is how it's looking. Let me know if you agree with it all down in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Make sure to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are new. Give me a follow over on Twitter if you don't already, and I'll see you all in the next video.